Oh,
Yeah, I'll take this.
yes, we're recording. Oh, let me grab my phone.
That's great, Tim. Thank you.
You know, it may be better if I sit at the end here and I can turn. No, I guess it's not gonna matter.
That's much better. Susan just has to
That's,
reopen.
that's pretty good right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I will have to switch back and
Next
forth.
to Jude, that would help. There we are. Hi, Tim.
Hey.
Hey, everybody.
Okay.
I'm
so-
returning on next Monday, just to let you know.
All right.
No. I think that might have been. Ralph's.
Well,
No,
That was on the table.
I think it was here. Yeah.
it's no.
Yes. And chocolates?
Okay, it is
Just
six
Miss Mouse or-
31, so we might as well get started. Does everybody have the agenda? It went out a couple of times, so hopefully everybody has it by now. Did you get it? Okay, because Susan keeps telling us that we have to include you in all emails.
That's right. And this just came apart, but because we didn't, one night Julie stood out in the frigid January night waiting for this hall to open when we were meeting down the other way. So thank you so
Oh, that's so nice.
much.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
We're so sorry.
Thank you. No.
Okay, so introduction of Ann Sterling from Magnolia
Oh, you do.
Historical Society.
Go over and wave at him.
Oh, sorry, yeah,
Oh, where's the camera?
the camera's here. I've got to,
Minimize.
Sorry, what is your name?
Good to see you.
Don Jettis, yeah.
he can see you but
Okay.
there.
Hi, happy
Hi.
Florida. Happy Florida-ing. Happy snowbirding.
Yeah,
So it was presented to us that you were here to see if you were a fit for the Historical Commission.
Well, yeah, I kind of wanted to see what you guys are doing, what topics you are passionate about. And I was recently moved here from Salem, where I was in Historic Salem Inc. So I was a member there for years, but I did a lot of meeting planning and projects with them. And so I kind of, cut my teeth in Salem on historic preservation.
Do they have
Yeah.
historic items in Salem? I didn't realize.
They were,
Kidding.
you get me crazy when I don't show off the bat. Oh, that was a battle. That was a pitched battle
Yeah,
that we lost.
Anne is also a generous gardener.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
And I work with Magnolia Historical Society and Museum just on setting up lectures for them to give.
And for those of you who missed it, Mary Ellen gave one last
Sunday.
Sunday, and it was terrific. And
Yeah.
Anne ran it with pizzazz. Yeah, it ran really smoothly. So, yeah, and she did a great job. Both of them did.
What'd you say you did in Salem?
I worked with Historic Salem, so we would do things like their Christmas tour, fundraising events, historic preservation, did a lot of zoning battles.
Hmm.
So I know way more about zoning than I ever wanted to know. But we, every time a developer came to the table, we were right at them, fighting them back. And I have projects that, we stopped cold 3 years ago that haven't gotten started up yet. COVID helped quite a bit on that by knocking them off their schedules for 2 years. But a lot of the projects I fought are still, they haven't even broken ground yet. So.
Okay, well, welcome.
Thank you.
And yeah, let us know what you think after you visit with us for the evening.
Thank you.
We'll talk more.
Did we want to introduce this
No.
gentleman?
Don Jettis.
And Don is the one that I think it was you that submitted the nomination for whatever number Middle Street.
75.
75 Middle Street. I think Lillian, he's on, that's on the list of our nominees.
It is, but you had also received an award in the past, or what
In
did
the
I,
past, yes.
I have to look at my notes.
This is the past.
And I forget which one it was, because I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I don't remember specifically what it was for.
I think it was restorative or I wonder if it was-
I'm not sure. I-
Yeah,
I
I'm not sure.
You received it or the house received it?
But
Before your-
the homeowner did. I'm not the homeowner.
At 75
75 minutes.
middle.
Mhm.
Hmm. Do you know the
And at
homeowner?
this time,
And
75 middle, what is the
Oh, that
the
one.
work that was done that would
Right on.
require a new award?
Why?
I'm sorry, Bob, can you say that again?
Oh, they received an award, I'd say 2018, 2019, or something like that. And that was, is that at the Screeners property, is that the property we're talking about?
2018.
Is that the Joseph Foster house?
yes,
Right. And I'm just wondering what new work may have been done where it would be in line for another award.
a garden and a patio in the back.
Okay, I think I saw that.
Okay,
And-
on Hancock Street side.
Okay,
Okay, we can pick that up when we go through the nominations unless anybody, okay. Next item. Google Lens,
Want to
we're
do the
looking,
minutes first?
oh, I'm
You
sorry.
can go in order.
Um, Sorry, I didn't even see it. Yes, approval of the February 5th minutes that Jude, I think you sent them out this morning.
Yesterday.
Yesterday, it all blends together after a while.
I'll motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second? I don't think we need to do individual, but all in favor?
You read it, yeah.
Yep. Any disagreements? Changes? No? Okay. And we've approved the minutes of the 5th. And speaking of the minutes, the next thing under administrative topics here is a software package that allow us to take the handwritten notes and convert them right to a document of some sort, electronic document, so we can quickly get the notes after the meeting. Susan, I did look into Google Lens,
You did.
and from everything I could tell, it's really an accessibility package for visually impaired people looking at websites. Unless I was looking at the wrong application, I could not, that's the only one I could find.
Okay. So I have been straight out. And I wanted to refresh myself on that before the meeting and I
Mm.
didn't, so I can't speak to it at
Okay.
this meeting.
I did find another package by Adobe. I downloaded it today. I think there's a cost to it.
Yeah, there
I'm
is.
on a free trial. I mean, if we
There
want,
is.
we could try it at the end. I've got the scanning app.
Let me see if I have Google Lens, just 1 second. I'm
Okay.
going to take, um,
Isn't Google Lens what they were just advertising for, like that new recognition for seeing impaired people?
Yeah, that's what I found. But I didn't find anything on OCR. What's OCR? Optical character recognition.
Right.
all right, so I'll ask
yeah.
her again, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I
No,
should have
that's
prepared for
fine.
tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I can do a little more poking around too.
Yeah,
Uh,
the idea is that we take a picture of Jude's wonderful notes at the end of the meeting. And he can email them to Ralph or to me. And we can do the Google Lens and do the little bit of editing and get them out right away. That's the goal,
Word transfer.
without having to pay for a software program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since we don't have a budget.
Okay,
Okay, alrighty, next item, just a note on the agenda, the schedule. We have, at least since I've been here the last few years, we've kind of traditionally submitted the agenda about halfway between the prior meeting and the coming meeting, about 2 weeks before the coming meeting. And it changes a lot. So the suggestion is, and I don't think we have to vote on this, it's just administrative, that we wait until about a week before, just before sending out a draft. I know Erin at the city and you know, that posts this from the city. She likes to have it earlier, but I think a week would be fine with her and I can check with her. But the the idea is not to have so many iterations, that we just send out something about a week ahead of time. And don't have so many draft versions.
Could I ask a question? Tim, are you using a, like a handwriting
Yeah.
transcription thing?
Yeah.
Would that solve it?
It would, yeah, if we wanted to use that, yeah, that's
It
a
would, but
possibility.
he's traditionally not our note taker.
Well,
so
I mean, you
we-
could get another one and then the other note taker could use it.
We
we
have,
could.
we have, yeah,
They're not cheap, but
How much are they?
it's like 600.
Mm.
And it'll do real-time transcription. You don't have to actually, most of them you have to do on the web because it actually does a cloud computing
Mhm.
word transcription. This one does it locally. It's the only one on the market that'll do it. Which is nice because you could literally do it right now and take it
Wow.
over yet.
Are there any grants being submitted? $600 grant to a community place.
It'd be worth it in terms of longevity to have one for the community group. This is actually my work one. So
Right, sure, yeah, they bought it.
Okay, are there any issues with that slight change with the
Oh, super,
agendas? Anybody is really has a burning desire to see the agenda, the draft agenda 2 weeks before the meeting? No? It's
yeah, I
okay.
think it's better
Actually,
because
like-
then we're not bugging Aaron with
Changing
every time
drafts.
we add something, and when you're only halfway through the month, you're really not. It's when the meeting starts to come up that you start to think about everything you want to talk about, and that's when it gets added to the agenda, so
Mhm.
I think just trying to have one agenda toward the end of the month and have her post one agenda is more efficient.
Mhm.
Anybody object?
No, actually, so this month was a perfect example of that, is we had continued applications for either submissions for awards or
Mhm.
home plaque applications that keep getting submitted. So we kept having to update the agenda for today's meeting based off of
Yeah.
things like that. So
Yeah.
makes sense to have it closer to the date.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right, moving right along. So Susan is now an approved, at least for 90 days, as a full member of the commission, so she can actually vote now.
Yay.
I still have to go before ordinances, which was tonight, at the Harbor Masters Conference Room. But
Oh.
I told him I had a conflict, so I still have to do that, but it is approved for voting.
Okay, so you can vote.
Mhm.
Just for your sake, and we have 7 full members, and what's the number of
We can have 7 alternates.
alternates as well? Okay. And I think right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, no, sorry, Carl. How many? 1, 2, you're now an alternate, right?
I don't know how that works. I'm currently a voting member.
You're still a voting member?
Yeah,
Okay,
so-
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have one
Mhm.
opening for a full.
Well, there is
And then
David.
Lily and Oldie.
Oh, David, I always forget about David. Yeah, anyway,
Anyway,
but Susan is here in full power, so. Thank you, Susan. March 13th, we have training for the boards and commissions at 6 o'clock at City Hall. Do you know if I don't think there's a video option for that. Does
I
anybody know?
don't think so.
I don't think so
I
either,
didn't see that.
which is
Yeah.
kind of a shame, but it's okay.
I think we'll be right here.
Yeah,
Yep.
so just a reminder that if you can make it, it would be good. And the most important thing of the evening is a reminder to include Julie on all emails, so we don't have to buy her any more chocolate. All right.
Also, on February 29th, there was that Mass Historical Commission workshop on architecture. And I signed up, you signed up, I didn't attend, but we got the materials.
I didn't. I don't know what happened. I
Really?
never got a reminder. I thought I did. I may have screwed up somehow,
Uh-huh.
but I never got the reminder.
But I sent everybody the materials, so it's a set of PowerPoint and it's the talking video. And I haven't had a chance to look at it, but when we have that as a resource now.
Mhm. Yeah, it was on different architectural styles.
Yeah, it would
building
be
art,
great
yeah.
if we ever resurrect the landmarks booklet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I actually have been searching for a copy of that book and I can't find a copy.
Mm, Google Docs,
70
yeah.
something, I know, just
So
can't find the one to use.
it's on the Google Docs.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, I wanted a hard copy. for my
Mary
house.
Ellen.
Oh, for yourself?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because my house is in it.
Mary
Oh,
Ellen, round one up.
Did you try the Gloucester bookstore down here?
I haven't yet, but I probably should.
They have a lot of
Yeah.
Gotcha.
things like that, local stuff.
Yeah.
In fact, they've got my children's book. in
I looked
there.
online at a bunch of different used books places. I couldn't find it, but I probably should have got a local.
Yeah,
bookstore
try down there.
first.
She may have it.
Okay.
Report.
Excuse me,
Oh,
Julie, you
sorry.
have a copy, right, at the library?
I think so. I could
Yeah,
look one more time.
I have a
but
copy in the bins for the historical commission, but
It's called Landmarks.
It's called Gloucester Landmarks. It was like
Yeah.
published in 73 or something. or
79.
79, yeah.
yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, I probably do. It sounds familiar.
Okay, and if I'm going through these items too quick and
No, we're
I'm
allowed to
cutting off
cover all.
that, exactly,
Yeah.
I just slow me down if you have more to say. The next item, report on timeline projects. Did you know you were gonna do this? Okay.
Yeah, I wish I had my computer. I'm sorry, I don't have it. But the Gloucester Timeline project was something that the library spearheaded in partnership with the Cape Ann Museum, City Archives, and the Gloucester 400 Plus. And it was launched at the end of January, so that was really exciting. It was a project that I've been working on for 2 years. So I'm glad that it's over-ish. So in the timeline, there are over 1,500 events in Gloucester's history that span pre-colonization. So we consulted with Mary Ellen LaBianca for some of the Indigenous history here, and then all the way up until 2024. We're keeping it current as we go. All the events have been categorized into at least one category, but we've tried to include 2 categories. So we have 67 categories total. And those range from women's history to maritime and fishing industry to art history. So there's a lot to explore there. So you can look at you can look at the timeline in a bunch of different ways. You can go chronologically, you can look by century, or you can look by category, which is
Could also search. I mean, you can just put in something.
Mhm.
Because I spent some time on it. I'm very technology averse. I'm not good at it. So I just opened it up. It was super easy.
Mhm.
And it comes out in a format, but you can just search anything you want.
Right.
And it'll take you right there. You don't have to mess. You're not like going into archives and thinking, well, they probably would have put it so-and-so. It'll just come right
Yeah,
up.
it does. It's really user friendly. Has anybody been on it?
I've been playing around with it.
No.
I was playing around with it
Yeah,
when I was doing some shipwreck stuff last 2 weeks ago.
yeah, yeah,
So it's all
It's
online, I
great.
assume.
It is,
It's all-
yeah.
yeah.
And the goal was to have some kind of digital asset linked to each event. So those are archival documents or photos, videos, audio clips. And I'd say we got maybe 75% of the way there. So
It's great.
yeah,
Is it on the Surgery Library website? Is that where the links are through?
yeah, it's a subpage of the library's website, but it's timeline.sawyerfreelibrary.org.
I've seen it there, but I haven't played with it. But so it's complete at this point?
Yeah, we're kind of giving the disclaimer that if you see something missing, if you see something incorrect, to let us know, and it's just going to be a living document that will continue to change. But as it stands,
Very user friendly, very easy.
yeah, good. Thank
Yeah, it is very.
I could see high school students, middle school students, just putting in something and it'll come right up.
That's right.
you. They are using it. I think a high school class is using it, so that's been cool.
So you're not still working on it. You will just do edits as people recommend.
Yep.
Yeah, I see. Okay. And you based it on the book, right? That Jude, you gave me a copy years ago.
Yeah, and I probably still have like 4 copies left at my house if I can dig them up from where I moved, if anyone else wants them. I got
The
like, someone
original
gave me
timeline
5
book?
copies of the timeline.
Do you have one?
No, I don't.
Oh, Ralph needs
Yeah.
one, Jude.
Yeah.
Do you know which book we're talking about?
I don't need one. I don't need a book. I got an online resource.
But yeah,
Well, Ralph has a library, right? You do.
Yeah, I got a lot of books and I got a lot I have to read too.
I have one and I just find it very handy too, but that was,
Yeah.
of course.
I have like one working copy that I write all over and then
Ah,
one that's kicking around, and I probably have four in a box, so.
How did you get that?
So somebody got like 24 of them at second glance. And brought them to my classroom when I was teaching a class. So I had a library in the back of my classroom in Gloucester High School. I'd take all the books that they were throwing out. And I just had them in the back of the room. So when the kids had papers, and someone gave me 25 of these.
Hmm.
Which like 4 were probably stolen, some were I borrowed and never returned them. And then when I moved in April, they're in a tote somewhere in my basement. And I'll go poking around through. All the books are in one section.
Great. Well, I'm looking forward to exploring it.
Mm.
Anything else on that? Oh, okay. Historic structure, and as I was sitting here, I just realized, so let me introduce it first. The Historic Structure Preservation Ordinance. I had a draft that I sent around last meeting, and Bob suggested that we strike anything that referenced the tourism. And Susan and I were talking and thought, well, should we vote on it, tourism versus non-tourism? And it's just a minor change, really. It's just I don't know if you remember offhand, I should have sent Susan, and you marked it up for us.
Yeah, I have the 2 copies.
Yeah, but it's just the change at the very top and at the very bottom where it references tourism.
Do you
And
think we
So-
should vote on it or not?
yeah, I think whether we accept I guess which version we would like to submit to the 10-year plan.
So for those people who don't know, weren't here, the mayor's office had suggested as part of our campaign to implement a demolition delay here, which has been an ongoing project for like at least 20 years. That we start small with 3-month delay, and we incorporated into the 10-year plan. And we should have a 1-page document that describes what this delay would be, what it means to the town. When we created it, we felt strongly, and when we met with the mayor and David Fields, we felt strongly that we should promote Gloucester as becoming a tourist economy. And therefore, then we looked at a demolition delay and saving historic houses as being part of this new trend of tourism, another reason to save historic properties. And we put it in this 1-page document. Bob had a comment that he thought that it wouldn't be as well received if Historical Commission was promoting a tourist economy. And so we felt very differently. So we need to know from all of you, we have to submit this 1 page, and we either submit it with tourism in it or without. So does anybody else feel, as Bob did, that looking at Gloucester as becoming a tourist community and saving historic houses and properties in that effort, have them labeled and have them, walking tours and things like that. If anybody feels it shouldn't be in there, I think you should speak now, because we have to submit one or the other.
Would you mind reading the section in there about tourism, just so you can get an idea of what it is?
It's very small.
Right, that's why I wanted to hear it, just to see what impact it actually had on the document.
So first of all, on the heading, and what we had in the PowerPoint for the mayor's office was this tagline. And the tagline is preserve Gloucester's past to ensure Gloucester's future. And on the 1 page under that, there's another subheading that says Gloucester's future is tourism, the arts and its culture, all of which would be strengthened by preserving and protecting its historic assets. That's the only part, except right at the end, the last sentence. A decade of data indicates that a minute number of structures would be affected in Gloucester, yet saving just one of them would help maintain the city's character. Either period or and support its growing tourist economy.
And
So there's a subheading up here, and that last bit about supporting the tourist economy, that makes this one page on demo delay different than this page.
So, quick question. Was tourism mentioned, was that one of the things that the city you met with? That was
Yep.
one of the things that they suggested. All right, just
Yeah.
because I wanted to
They
clarify.
didn't
No, they,
suggest
yeah,
it.
they didn't
We
suggest it.
had it in the slides and they didn't oppose it at all.
And the
we had
reason,
the tagline in the slides
Right.
and we brought it, it was in a number of the slides.
and
Can I
the
have
reason
a,
being there,
I want to just clarify why I was concerned about the mentioning of tourism. It's not that it's a real bad word or anything like that, but I was just afraid that that the reason why we're doing this is for tourism, and that may not set well with some people, and that could influence the vote from the city council. I think that we want to do the preservation protection based on how important it is to save it for the community, for ourselves, and of course that's going to be good for tourism. Anything we do to enhance Gloucester is certainly going to be good for tourism. And so that is something that, people come to Gloucester and they expect to have a certain feel when they come here, but they can't get that somewhere else. That's important. If you wanted to write that in there somehow, maybe that would be all right. But just to say tourism, that can kind of like, people are very anti-tourist. I know the people in Rockport, they really hate tourist season because it's so congested and everything, and they can't wait until it's over. And they have the town back to themselves. And there's some of that feeling in Gloucester too. And I just feel that, you mentioned doing it for the tourists, people just will say, well, I'm not interested in doing things for the tourists. I want to do something for myself, So that's why I thought the answer should be that we're doing this for ourselves and not for the tourists.
But the whole rest of the document is all about that, Bob. The entire rest of the document is all about just saving historic properties, period, the end. Any way that we can.
and the reason we put it in the first place is we thought getting support from the business community is important. Because there is going to be an aspect of the business community that will be against this, and that's the construction industry for sure, is not going to like this.
Sure.
But other aspects of the business community will. That's why it was in there in the first.
I
place.
am very pro-tourism because I do see that being the future of a large portion of Gloucester's economy. I, in that way though, do not agree with how this is written. You wrote Gloucester's future is tourism, the arts and culture.
Mhm.
People are going to have a huge problem with that because
Mhm.
you left out
Okay.
any of the other sections. I think we just need to reword it to not is, but say like Gloucester's future will thrive on, or something less solid than Gloucester's future is tourism. Those are the first 4 words. People are going to read that and get really turned off
It's
by
very
it.
strong.
It's
yeah.
very strong. I don't disagree with it, but the fact that I think a lot of people locally will read that, and we're gonna have some problems with that. I think it's too
Support
strong.
instead of is.
I agree with you. I think by saying is the future,
Yeah.
is just saying there's no other future, right?
Right.
But by saying it's inclusive, then I something less harsh, like you said.
And we could put tourism last.
Agreed. I think
Yeah, okay.
rearrange
Gloucester
it.
future is arts, it's
I'd say culture first.
Culture.
Culture, arts,
Culture,
and tourism.
the arts. Okay, and instead of using is, what do we use?
I would say support,
Supports.
I should have it.
Gloucester's future supports.
No,
Will
okay.
be- We can do some brainstorming on that, but that's my 2 thoughts. I actually think the ending is totally fine, the way it's written. Personally, I think that the beginning is just a little too strong for your top header
Hmm.
of a breakout statement.
I think that's addressing what my concern is. I think you're making a good suggestion there, Tim.
Thank you.
Yep.
Can you read the opening sentence again? I'm
Sure,
sorry.
it says Gloucester's future is tourism, the art, and the culture, and its culture, sorry. All of which would be strengthened by preserving and protecting its historic assets.
Hmm. Well,
Rely, something like that.
Gloucester's future is
Heavily
dependent,
depends.
dependent on,
Relies on.
yeah. Or dependent on.
I would say
a lot.
depends
Yeah,
on, or
dependent on,
It's a tourism, the arts and tourism, the arts and
I don't think we put
culture.
tourism, but
Yeah, the arts, culture, tourism, art, something like that
yeah,
is part of Gloucester's future, blah, 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 blah.
I don't have a copy of that in front of me and I don't remember everything that was in there, but my thought is that we want to be sure that we're addressing the idea that in preserving historic structures in Gloucester, they're also preserving the history and the story that those structures can tell to us now and in the future. And that a lot of that gets lost, the feel of that, and also the historic nature of the neighborhoods as well is very important to not just the individual structures, but the whole entire neighborhood that gets affected. And that can also lead to more loss of historic structures as that neighborhood changes from being of that historic character. That doesn't mean that we're going to get stuck in the past. We have to emphasize that too, that somehow we have to keep the important part of our past and build on that into the future so that we don't want to stifle progress, because there's always been change in every period, whether it was a colonial period or the periods after that, where we had different styles of homes, and so that is part of the city. And I'm hoping another thing too is I'm concerned that the MBTA mandate to build more dense housing around the railroad station could affect a lot of the historic neighborhoods around there. So that's going to be something in the future too. That this may actually help protect what might happen, because the idea would be if they can't adapt the property to increase housing, they may end up tearing it down.
okay. So why don't we do what Tim suggested? Let's, instead of is, we'll say it dependent on or relies or is reliant on either
We say like
word.
relies heavily upon.
Yeah,
culture, I think
Culture.
should be the first one.
yeah,
The arts and tourism.
right,
Yeah, that sounds much better.
okay.
Will the building people that oppose this be sitting in on the testimony for or
If
against
this-
the ordinance?
If this goes to public hearing, which if there's an ordinance, it usually does,
Mhm.
you know, every developer is gonna come to that.
I was just
meeting
thinking if they
and
could
shut
put
it
some
down.
language in there.
Yeah, but this is not for that.
This is just for the 10.
This goes
This
in
is
the
just for the what?
10-year
The
plan.
10-year plan?
Just
Oh, okay, okay.
stick our
Yeah, toes in the water, yeah.
so that city councilors, when they look at the 10-year plan, will say, oh,
This is a good way to do a soft
for
opening.
Gloucester
Right.
Historical
It's a soft
Commission.
opening.
Right, and
That's
with,
all that this is.
yeah, it'll stimulate discussion and feedback on the proposal, and it's a first step, is what we want to
That
do.
that doesn't also mean that we can't change it, even though we put that in the plan, there may be
Oh, no.
something we have to
Right.
tweak this in the future.
Really not.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So would somebody like to make a motion to change that wording as,
I'll make that motion.
anybody second?
I was- I don't-
Okay. I guess we'll have an individual, Susan, do you,
I agree.
Tim?
Agree,
Yes,
yes.
Jude?
Agree.
Yep, Lillian,
I agree.
and Bob, you said you,
Yes,
and as do I. So I'll make that change
Mhm.
and I will send it off to David Fields. And we'll get this in the plan ASAP.
And I'm sure he might give us feedback too.
Right, although he has seen the original version. I did send it, when I copied all of you, I copied him.
Oh, he did. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
mm.
Oh, good.
He
Okay.
didn't
He
say
didn't
anything,
comment.
but he
Yeah.
may in
Yeah.
the future. I don't know. Okay, that's good. We'll get that moving. let's see. Request for GHC letter on the historical significance of Gloucester stage.
Yeah, I drafted a letter.
Okay, yes, I saw it. You sent it to me.
Yes. Shall I read it to everybody?
Yeah. 'cause I don't think I-
Because it needs to be signed and it needs to be returned to them tomorrow, like right away, because this is going to be part of their CPC funding application to
Mhm.
do updates on Gloucester Stage. So those applications have to be in by March 11th.
Yeah.
So I wrote it to Bill Cuff, who is, I think he is the co-chair. Dear Mr. Bill Cuff and members of the Community Preservation Committee, the Gloucester Historical Commission was approached by Gloucester Stage through its managing director, Christopher Griffith, with a request to declare that their building located at 267 East Main Street is historically significant to support their application for repairs and updates. The structure was designed around 1915 by Ezra Phillips for John F. Perkins and Fred Corliss, who were converting their bicycle rental business to automobiles. Twin Lights Garage, with capacity for 100 autos, was used to store visitors' cars, as well as the Perkins Corliss fleet of vehicles for chauffeuring summer tourists around Cape Ann. Building materials were selected specifically for the building's purpose: concrete, steel, and brick, a testament to its 100 years of use. The property is listed in Macris number 1420. It also falls within glow.av, which is a multiple property submission for Macris, Glow AC, which is East Gloucester, and Glow AW, which is East Gloucester Square District. Gloucester Stage seeks funding to protect the historic building by replacing their current leaking and deteriorating rubber roof and tuck pointing and restoring the original brickwork on the facade and all four walls of the building. In addition, replacement of their rooftop HVAC units for the theater will assist in continuing its educational and cultural contribution to the community while bringing theater goers into a repurposed functional historic structure. So I put this in the letter. The Historical Commission voted unanimously on March 4th that the building at Gloucester Stage is significant.
Yes,
So,
very nicely
anybody
done.
has-
Thank you for
Sounds
doing
very
that,
nice.
Susan.
Objections, otherwise, if you
Yeah.
could mail that, I mean, it's right in my neighborhood, I can bring it by tomorrow.
Oh, is he located right at the,
If he's there,
Yeah.
otherwise I can
okay,
drop it off,
Yeah.
or then mail it. If nobody's there, I'll put it
Yeah.
in the mail, it will go overnight, right?
We need a
Uh,
vote, do we need a
yep.
vote for that letter?
Yeah.
I think we do. Yep, would somebody like to make a motion? Well,
I'll
second,
make a motion.
okay. Susan,
Agree.
Tim?
Yeah.
Jude, Lillian, and Bob, who can't see all the heads nodding, or maybe some of them. Your vote, Bob?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay, great. I will sign that. And we will get that to him tomorrow. Thank you very much, Susan, for doing that. Okay, historic plaque update. Susan, this is your area of
Yeah,
expertise.
okay, so I spent quite a few hours this month going over Prue's files. Prue Fish left a bin of files, among other things. It's at the museum. Sandy met me one of the days. We met for over 2 hours. I had done 3 hours worth of work before that. Just culling them, refining them, putting them in order of the street name. Come to find out, many of them didn't have it. 35 out of the, let's see, almost 100 of the files didn't have addresses on them. So we have to go back and refine again. 35 of them were in Macris. 21 of them were used to research her historic homes in her books. So I'm not quite sure why she had those files, because 21 of them we used for her books out of, the 100. Only a few of them had house plaques on them. It's so, I don't know why she did this research, and I don't know who it's going to help. But I'm going to continue to refine them and to index them. And then I'm going to bring the index to the archives at City Hall, because they were quite interested to know what's in them, because when people come to them wanting a historic plaque for their house, if Prue's already done the research, then they'll just have to go to that file and their research is done for them. But as it turns out, I don't know how valuable it's going to be. But I'm going to index it so everybody knows, and then
These
Oh.
files have like citations. Like, did she cite where she found some of this information?
they're a mess. A lot of them just have copies of pages of deeds. Just photocopies, folded and not even folded neatly, they're sticking out. You have to search through to find the house address. There's handwritten notes, it's just she did great work. Sometimes she wrote all of the names, all of her research. But you have to search through the whole thing to even know where the address is, or there's just a lot to figure out. It's not organized, but there's a lot of detail in there, research detail, that I think may help archives, may help somebody somewhere along the line. So I'm willing to spend the time to get them organized enough and in order enough that they can be used and they'll be accessible. So that's
need-
that. And I was so hoping that they would help us with the plaques program, and that was why I'm doing it. Very happy to say that the first 2 plaques are done. Lisa sent, they're beautiful, they're perfect, and I said, well, but now the homeowner has to approve them because they're your client. So I haven't heard from her since, and I haven't heard from the client, so I think all is well. We have one at the vendor now, she's still working on it, and that's Wellspring. And then we have 4 Cross Street, which we have to vote on tonight to see if we deem it historic enough to have a plaque. But before we get to that, I want to say that when I have a little more time, I would like to market the program a lot, as you did with, in the Gloucester Times, and put a splash in Good Morning Gloucester, and really get the word out there that, these plaques are now available. One of the ideas that I had was, because Wellspring is a first period house and is so incredibly historic and documented and photographed, that my grand plan was to get the mayor to come and get him photographed outside while they are hanging the plaque, or while it appears that they're hanging the plaque, and do a marketing splash. If he can't do that or be there that same day, I still want very much to get the newspaper there and get it photographed and get it front and center on the in the newspaper. So I think that would be a good PR.
Yes.
Anybody object?
I think that's an excellent idea.
Is there a cost for the plaque?
It's $175, and we have nothing to do with it. It's between the vendor and the customer.
That's great.
We just verify that the house is historic. And we give the customer a 1-page certificate. This was suggested by the city attorney. So everybody knows and understands that, we said it was historic, when we said it was historic and why it's historic. And then they have that as well, and then they give that to the vendor. So everybody's on the same page. And then what happens between the two of them is between the two of them, but I still want to see what it says to make sure that it actually says what it was supposed to say. And she takes care of shipping. So the newest application that we have is for Cross Street. It is on Macris. It's .138. It's residents. They, I think, work
I tried
with,
to find it. I couldn't find it.
So
It's a 3-unit apartment.
it's when you come through the lights. and You're going towards downtown. Before you, like where it turns to go up by Lee's. I wanna say, so Cross Street's that street that goes up there. I wanna say it's like right on the corner. There's like another little side street.
Cause I
It's a
looked,
weird
it's off
location.
of Bright Side, right, or something like that. That's what I thought when I looked at.
Yeah,
the-
it's the
map.
road right across from the state fish pier that goes up and
It
then.
goes up, it goes up towards, you can cut through there to get up to like Friend Street. Like it takes you up to like, it intersects with like East Main
East
Street.
Main.
Actually, it's one way.
Yeah, it's one way up.
Right, but
Yeah.
if you're at the state fish pier coming out of it, it's, the road's right in front of you rather than
Okay,
staying
all
on
right.
East Main.
I thought I was in the right place, but.
isn't this it's just a big.
It is,
square?
it's a big white house and it's near the top of the hill
Yeah,
as you're going up.
So when you
Yeah, I
come,
found it on Google, but I wanted to drive by it too.
Uh-huh.
Because I wasn't sure, is that a recent picture?
It's a corner of Loring, so
You come-
Loring Lane.
second,
So
so lights, so to get down to the fish pier, it's Fratty's in the fish
Oh.
pier.
Okay,
It's like when you come off that stop sign to go into town,
okay.
instead of stopping at the lights, you can go to that stop sign to come into town, there's Lee's. It's between that stop sign and Lee's, and
Yes,
it goes
that's
up and
it.
cuts you up to East Main Street.
This one
The,
here.
Yeah.
the owner's
They
letter
just
is
sold it.
lovely. It was
Was
very
it?
nice. It was
It
a
was
really
really
nice unit.
felt.
Yeah.
She's really passionate about the history of her house. I think she's.
Did you get the letter as well? Did you read it?
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
She's been emailing me back and forth. I think she's coming to.
Oh,
see me
right,
on
she thanked you in the
Thursday,
letter, actually.
Yeah.
Thanks for her.
The other person that was so passionate and heartfelt was, our first one, 19 Allen Street.
Yeah, this was really nice.
Just, they have so much pride. So their research, is vetted by this woman right here at the table. It goes back to,
1827.
thank you. And that's what she'd like on the plaque with the first person who,
So the only thing that I was confused with reading that, the first person, the house right, he lived there.
Mm.
Okay, so he built the house, he lived at the house. And then sold it like in 1830s. Yes, so maybe, because that's who she wanted on the plaque, and I
I
just wasn't
know.
clear, just, she didn't really indicate. Oh, I didn't see it, I was reading it. like-
Yeah, I think she still had some questions about who should be there, or I can't remember. I didn't read like everything, but
She got into like the history of the merchants and
I know, but yet she wants John Steele with an E, Junior. Occupation housewife,
I mean, he built it, right?
that's what she thinks. Because he was a builder.
So was he a contractor? Like, was he building it for someone else or would he build it for his own home?
That's where my question is,
Yeah.
because if you're a house
He
right,
sold it right away. He's a house right. He's probably building.
You know,
a
like-
business.
it's not like the carpenter, the Babson carpenter on Washington Street that like, it just says he's a carpenter, like it's a house right. That was my only question. I mean, that's,
My question
Should
too.
it say built by, not
and the city
necessarily?
directories don't really have like street, I don't even think we have them that go back that far.
no, not there.
It just depends if it was his personal house or if it was a house, he used the house right for,
Yeah, that's why I said if it was built by, it wouldn't
Right.
matter whether he lived it or he in it or he built it.
right, and is he
Did he-
historically
what else did he
significant
build?
enough, right? That's what.
Is he like, who built the Davis house? Like, those people are like notable house rights.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So. They have the sale date of November 7th, 1827 to John Steele Jr. from Benjamin Rowe.
That the land?
Or did he just live there and Benjamin
Says
Rowe owned the house?
Land,
Yeah, he bought the land.
he bought the
to build the
land.
house. Mhm.
And then next thing we know, in 1833, James Elwell bought the land and a dwelling from John. So I guess the question is, was there a house on the land in 1827? It doesn't sound like it. Sounds like he bought the land in 1827.
How many years after that did it get sold with a house on?
The next book and page that they have is 1833. So that's 6 years.
It's not. It's ballpark.
And you know, it's all ballpark
Yeah, I
too.
know.
So if you say C,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
right,
within 5
exactly.
years. And that is then accurate.
Yeah. Did
So,
they, I don't remember, did she make a recommendation as to what to put on the plaque?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, she did.
So what is she stating as the historical significance of the house? The house right himself or the house, his architectural style? Like what was her reasoning?
I don't know.
Because that's what we have to start differentiating here. We can't just say yes to every single one, right? Of
I
every
don't
house
think
that
so.
was built in 1800s.
I don't think so.
Oh, I agree with you.
I think every house that's built in 1800 should have a plaque.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
just because.
Just the age alone.
Yeah, I guess the fact that it's still,
1950s. I mean, these houses to me are just phenomenal. You go through down whole blocks of historic houses, 1800s.
it is interesting to read on each house what the owner was or did. So
So
especially
anyway, that's
I kinda
me, and
agree.
that's what my vote would be,
What's
but
the date, what's the date that it was built? Or the
we
date-
don't know when it was
When
built.
was there a house on it? When did the guy buy it?
6 years later.
1833.
1833.
Because there are houses on the 1831 map and there's nothing there. But the guy who made that map has houses along Prospect Street, Spring Street, along head of the harbor. So like, I guess that goes up a hill, so that was like, that would be Lookout Hill, I'm guessing that's gonna be like, yeah, so then maybe there is. So there should be some-
Mhm.
Is there any database component to this where someone will be able to look up
Yeah.
31 Proctor Street and
No, that'd be-
get that history?
Yeah, Rich did one. And we had it up and took it down. We're still working on it. Yes,
Plus you
Yeah.
said it was on Macris as well, right?
The house is on it.
this
the
house is on Necklace.
Yeah.
But not all of them will be on that.
No,
No.
but our historic plaques will be in a database
Great.
and they'll be online.
Which I still have to try to find a home for that database, don't I? Sutton, different subject, sorry.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Right.
So are we okay with saying this house is historic? Is that like, this is the first part of it? It's on Macris, 1800s.
I would say yes, just based on the date alone and the fact that it's on Macris.
Is that picture on Macris? The picture of that dwelling's on Macris, right? I'm pretty sure it is.
Right here.
I looked this all up the day that you emailed
Right
me
here.
and I looked it all up.
Yeah, it's the one with the three
And then I
houses.
looked
so
at
it
all,
shows
it just sold,
income
like they
taxes.
just bought it in the beginning of February.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're new
Oh.
owners.
Oh, that's a while ago, yeah. So it's this house.
I wonder what it was built as.
It looked
Like
a lot, it
a,
looked
like
a
a
lot nicer
one,
dark.
like was that
It was a
built?
single family originally.
Yeah, it was like a single family and it's what, 6 bedrooms, 3 baths now?
It's a 3-unit, yeah, I
Mhm.
think, 3-unit apartments.
Are they gonna rent it? Is that there?
I have no.
Or are they gonna like do something to the inside of it?
No idea.
I don't think that really matters in terms of what we're talking
It'd be
about.
cool if they whatever restore part of
It would be
inside.
nice,
Cause
yeah.
there's some older, like, it looks like one of the apartments is like new with like that. Fake wood floor and then one of it has like that red,
Yeah,
all the old red wood cabinets and
yeah, it's clearly seen. a
one of
better
them saw
day.
better days.
But that's okay. I mean, it's a start, put a
Mhm.
flag on there, and if they're gonna fix it up.
They're not
great.
tearing it down.
No, exactly.
Right, so I make a motion to vote that 4 Cross Street is historical and deserving of a historic house flag.
I'll second that.
And
Okay.
I further vote that if the client wants to go with,
That's
what's
right.
his name, John
Steele.
Steele Jr., house right, circa, C, 1827, that is not inaccurate.
No, I think that's accurate. Yeah. Agree.
I mean, if he didn't live there, he still built it, so.
Right.
Okay,
Documented on the factors.
all right, so
So
does
we're
anybody
just gonna do
second?
this as
Bob
one.
seconded,
Bob seconded.
all right,
So we're gonna, just so I have it, will you motion to support the plaque application as is?
yes.
I think that the wording of like the date, I think that would have to be something that we would also have to approve in the future. But right now, we're just approving the fact that it should have a plaque, but what would be on the plaque will be something else.
I think that's what you're saying.
Well, we always do talk about what goes on the plaque and to make sure that it does reflect the research.
Cause if this wasn't,
Right.
if this wasn't already on Macris, we would be, cause we've gotten. All the people that have applied for stuff have already
Yeah.
been on Macris,
Right.
but this would be something we would submit as the Form B. So we
Mhm.
kind of want to make sure that that's accurate, and if that's like, I mean, that's the research you did, I mean, I'm fine with it.
Okay. So can we vote?
Yes, so,
Yes.
Susan, you said yes, Tim,
Yes.
Jude.
Yeah.
Lillian,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
you seconded, so I assume it's a yes, and yes for me as well. So
Okay,
passed unanimous.
very good. So I'll let her know tomorrow.
Okay.
The next is tercentenary markers, and there's a huge development on that, actually. So I was working with the attorney in the mayor's office to get our memorandum of understanding signed as part of the application, the eligibility application for CPC funding to have it restored, which was due March 11th. In the meantime, I did get a second quote. The quote that we got from Skylight Studios in Woburn to restore this sign was $3,500. And I happened on the internet to see that when there was a pilot program, 20 of these signs were restored around 2019, I think. And they were done by a company in Watertown. And this company did all of them. And again, they had all the pictures, they showed the process, they were beautiful. They did an extraordinary job. And I contacted him and he got right back to me. The cost was $19,000 for one sign.
Wow.
Wait, the other guys said 3,500?
Guys are doing 3,500 who I had lined up. Then I found the second Daedalus in Watertown, which would charge 19,000. They're the ones that did the pilot program in the Connecticut River Valley. They restored 20 signs. Then the state ran out of money.
At that price.
I was gonna say, that's not.
Yep. And COVID hit and all that funding dried up. So that's why I went to CPC. And I started with this application, then I had to have an MOU and then met with the lawyer and she said, well, you should have a second, you know. Then when I met with the lawyer, she contacted DPW because they have to take the signs down and transport them back. The restoring company doesn't do that. I called the town of Arlington, who used this restorer. He couldn't recommend them enough. He said he's used them for a number of programs, a number of, you know, things. And so that was good. So I had that in place. And then I went down to DPW because they weren't answering and to ask Mike Hale what it was gonna cost in their budget to have their men come and take this 200-pound rusty tablet down and get it off and transport it and bring it back and get it back on again. He wasn't there, then, to their feet. Got a call from somebody in the office last week that said that DPW wants to take the entire thing over and put it under their budget and they would manage it.
Okay,
I was
yeah,
great. But you know, she needed to see my paperwork and my quote and my, and I gave her everything and more. And I haven't heard. And I should have called today. By the time I thought to call, it was
For which
3:30.
vendor, the
Close.
$19,000
No.
or the $3,500?
No. 3,500,
Okay.
yeah, the one here in Woburn, the one that Arlington was so pleased with.
Okay.
So maybe, hopefully, DPW is gonna take that project off of our hands. I just haven't gotten an answer yet. She did tell me she'd get back to me by the end of last week, and she didn't.
Was it
She said it
Rose?
would be soon. Rose,
Rose, yeah, okay.
yeah, it was Rose. She's so nice.
Yeah.
So hopefully, at some point next week, I'll find out and it'll be.
But don't we have to vote just as a contingency on the memorandum of
Yes, we do.
understanding? Yeah, okay,
Just in case
Yeah.
they say, no, we're not gonna do it, and then it falls back to us,
right.
and then I have to get the eligibility.
Is that gonna put us
application.
without, beyond the scope timeline wise for CPC funding
No.
for it? Okay.
As long as I get in before March 11th.
Okay.
And that application is just for eligibility. It's 2 pages. It's as easy as can be. It's the next application that has to go in by May. It's very, very detailed and they need a lot. So, but we may not have to cross that bridge, but yes, I'd like to propose a vote that we, agree that the MOU that I have somewhere, is what we need to restore Tercentenary sign. Anybody?
Second,
Oh, I have it right here.
Thank you.
Okay,
So
Fritters.
if DPW is interested in taking this over and they actually follow through, then they'll follow through with doing the other 2 signs as well, stage 4, correct?
I told them all about them.
Okay.
Yeah. If they don't, we can always pick it up next year.
Right, but at least one will be done, potentially. Said, but at least one will be done. potentially. Yeah.
Yes.
okay, so Susan, I
Yes.
assume is yes, Tim,
Yes.
Jude, Lillian, and Bob.
yes,
I am also a yes, so
All right, so this is the reason why I need the minutes like tomorrow. Because the city has to see that we voted on this before they will consider the MOU legitimate. Did everybody follow?
yeah.
So I need the minutes
Will
tomorrow.
that work
You
for
can
you? Jude?
snapshot these all you
Okay,
want.
Alright.
yes, that's what I'll do. That's
You know
what I'll
what, it'll
do.
be a good opportunity to try the Adobe app that I downloaded today.
We're gonna be at like 6 pages by the end of this meeting.
Yeah, that's
6
fine.
pages.
Right
I don't
over
know,
Okay.
I don't know if I can do that much, no, I'm kidding.
All right, all set.
Okay, great. And now the big event of the evening. Lillian, you are on for the voting of the nominees
Okay.
for historical.
So I'm assuming everybody looked at all the applications that
Yes.
I sent out,
I did. Yeah.
including the one today that came in. Okay, so Ellen Solomon recommended.
We want to put these names in the minutes.
The nominees.
I did a list of the the nominations,
Yeah,
whatever,
I don't
so.
think we have to.
No.
Yeah,
Just put in who you vote in. probably,
Yeah.
Right?
just the results. of the
Just so
vote.
we vote.
Just the
Numbers.
nominees and the results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So And that was Jeffrey Ruchon, who has done a great deal for the city's citizens in drug and alcohol recovery, and also founded and spearheaded Gloucester Maritime. And I don't know much about, I wasn't sure what to do.
Like, was that Gloucester Maritime, like the Maritime Heritage Center?
That's what I'm not.
It is that. He also was instrumental in the beginning of the Gloucester Stage Company. He co-founded that as well.
I'm sorry, Lillian, what was the category this was for?
Oh. I'm not sure I put that in a category. I don't think I put it in a category because I don't think I was sure what to think of it. So we can decide.
Be for like a life achievement, or was this supposed to be like a community preservation?
Well,
What's that on the list?
What did you say his first? What did you say about him first, about alcohol?
about, has done a great deal for the city's citizens in drug and alcohol recovery.
Yeah, he wasn't.
When he acquired the building on the corner of Duncan and Rogers Street, if you're familiar with that building, it used to be a hotel at one time. And so he converted that building into a mixed-use building, and part of that was for the drug rehabilitation program that he was involved with. That's what I remember.
Yeah, but we're not voting on his,
No, like what do we do for Maritime
contribution.
Gloucester?
Yeah.
Founded it, right? Is that this one?
I think people are a little confused as to what this award is. Because I
That's,
think we
that's my
got
thing. I
it.
think people think this is
few
like,
Sounds like
It-
education and outreach would be the closest thing, right?
but is he still involved? Is he still involved with Maritime
I
Gloucester?
agree with you.
It's not history. It's a commendation
Yeah.
for people that have done good things for this town. That's not, to me,
Right.
what this award is about.
No, this is the criteria, whatever the state MHC criteria are. I feel like it's too up in the air for me.
Yeah.
Do we have to motion and vote on every single one of these people?
Then we do
Yeah.
it by
I think so.
category, don't we?
do.
I think we do too, yeah. Well, that was one of my questions.
I think you just say all the nominees and you vote on the
Oh,
one
and
that you
vote.
choose for that category.
Is it
Okay,
only one per category though?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
We can give more than one per category, can't we?
I would
Yeah.
You could
think,
do
Yeah,
that. We
yeah.
didn't, we
We
don't
have
have
to
anything
pass.
for adaptive reuse that,
I was actually gonna bring that up. I thought in our last meeting, we had recommended that Ocean Alliance be put on
Yeah,
adaptive
that's what I
reuse,
thought
not
too.
restorative and rehabilitation, because it's the only one that actually applies in that category.
yeah, that's.
so we're
Yeah.
gonna
that's my-
take ocean,
Yeah.
well, that's what I wanted to
Right.
discuss,
Yeah.
out of the restoration and rehabilitation,
Yeah,
okay,
put that down to adaptive reuse,
okay.
which I think is a perfect category for it.
So are we rejecting the first one here? I
So
mean,
do we have to motion that? I'm just trying to think of how this is gonna go in the minutes with all
Yeah.
of these
yeah,
people. We're gonna end up putting,
I think we do have to vote on everyone.
I think we do.
How many nominations were there?
like 80.
80.
No,
Yeah.
there weren't any.
I say we go through and anyone that doesn't meet the criteria, can we just like hash through, and anyone that doesn't strictly meet the criteria of those categories, we just move aside?
Yeah, and we vote on the ones that we want to nominate. I
Yeah.
think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean,
So do we have to? We don't really, that's a procedural thing. I feel like we just do it. I feel like,
yeah, I
That's-
agree. I agree. Let's go through them. Eliminate any that we don't think are ready for prime time. And then we'll go
Yeah,
back
there's
and
only
vote.
eight
Motion on the
categories.
ones that we would like to
Yeah.
choose.
Right. We making it tough on you, Lillian? Are we making it tough on you?
Oh, so we're going to the next one, okay, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's-
All right, well, obviously the lifetime achievement. Mary Ellen LaPianca, that's,
another second.
so, are we gonna do it separately for each one, or just for all of them?
No, we're gonna do it separately, I think.
Okay, so. I nominate or Susan actually nominates Mary Ellen LaPianca for the Lifetime Achievement Award. So I guess,
I'll second that.
yes. Yes for me.
Okay,
Yes.
and yes,
for me.
Tim, yes, Jude?
Yes.
Yes, I assume yes for
Yes.
you since you nominated her. And Bob?
Yes,
Okay. So that's a
Okay, so that
That's
one's
a-
done. Okay.
unanimous.
Okay, the next one, restoration and rehabilitation. Wellspring for restoration of the 1709 Davis Freeman House, nominated by Melanie Murray Brown, and I think also you, Bob.
Hmm?
I think you also mentioned Wellspring too.
Yeah, I did.
And
For historic preservation?
Restoration and rehabilitation.
restoration, and then Ocean Mounds is not here, so.
So that's
So
the only
that's
nominee
the-
for that
yep,
category.
so-
So I move we approve the award for Wellspring.
And I,
Anybody-
that,
It's okay, Bob second. Susan,
Agree.
Tim,
Yes.
Jude, Lillian, and
yes,
self, Bob, okay, so that.
What's this for? Restoration?
Restoration and rehabilitation.
We're testing how fast Jude can write.
Oh, don't worry about me.
Next is,
How easy can you read it?
Yeah.
next is local preservation.
Local.
And that 75 Middle Street. And what we're gonna do, so this they received a restoration and rehabilitation preservation award in 2018 for the property, which local preservation is a different category, so I don't know.
We nominating the person for this, or is he nominating the property?
Is this your property?
No,
Oh, I thought
He
it
did
I'm
bring it
I'm
was.
representing
No, but I mean, this
the
is
property,
the address.
75 Middle,
Yes.
yes.
When was that work done?
When this particular change, this, last summer.
Okay. And what was the work again?
Patio, driveway in the back. It fronts, Hancock. It's across the street from all that new development at the Y.
Ah,
I've seen the work there. It's very, very nicely done.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the building that was the Y, I'm thinking of the new Y.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was,
Right when you come to the end
Isn't
of,
there another building?
come to
right
the end of
behind it?
Dale Ave.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's right in front.
Yeah, okay.
75
So where's the
Middle.
yard portion? On the bank
Right.
side, on the old bank side?
Between the two, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was all redone by a local stone worker. So you have pavers and granite and nice stuff.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
That one.
That's the front. The work I'm talking
So
about
that
is
work
in the
was,
back.
so work in the front was famous. Yeah.
That's right,
Fabulous.
yeah.
Absolutely fabulous.
So
I
we-
saw in the past that there was an award for landscape preservation or something.
Yeah, I was just thinking that we
Yeah.
should have a category for that.
That's what I was thinking. I don't know when it got dropped. It was before my time.
I feel like that should go in, and then we should also get nominations from people like the local community gardens, and because they do the garden tour every year, and a lot of those are like new up and coming properties or people that are, you would know better than that. Yeah. us,
Yeah.
right?
No.
No?
No, they're public properties. There's 48 of them now. And they're not,
You're talking about the gardens
The
itself.
garden
Yeah,
tour
generous
is all
garden.
people-
You're talking about the garden tour and she's talking about the gardens that are
oh,
maintained.
yeah.
Most of those garden tour, I would say the majority of those garden tour houses are pretty recent.
Yeah.
They're not historic properties
Oh,
in
yeah.
general,
In my
although
house-
there are historic gardens in Gloucester.
Right.
There's a Middle Street walk also in the winter.
Mhm. So. the
So
first-
this is a significant addition, but we don't seem to have a category for it.
I mean, can we just create?
And
a
we
category?
haven't, and we haven't
Um,
had people to submit nominations for the
Yes.
category because we
Yeah.
don't have it, so.
That's true. When was the work done?
Last summer.
So 2023. You don't have pictures.
No,
What role do you play in it?
I'm just representing him because he couldn't be there.
Oh, okay.
Can we approve things without actually getting the wording in? When I say that, we know that something substantial was done that would enhance the historic feel of the property. So I thought we could just approve that, and then the wording on all of these has to be worked over anyway for the presentation. And if it needs to be in any of these cases, we may change the category, and we may not know the category definitively
Don't,
at this time.
don't you
I
need
mean,
to
I'm not-
identify it now because the letters have to go out and we've got to figure this out
Today-
tonight?
Yeah,
Yeah.
today is the voting day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
today's voting.
But is it, I'm not sure where these categories came from originally, but
These
I
are the
think,
Mass Historical Commission's categories.
oh, and we don't know if they have a landscaping category.
I'm gonna look that up.
Okay, because if they have a landscaping category, then I'd say, let's vote on it and put it in that category.
Yeah, I think for just the home preservation portion, nothing has been additionally done since they got their award in 2018-19 on the house itself. So unless it is landscape based, I would say it's probably not applicable for a second.
Well, that's what I'm
award.
thinking too, yeah.
Yeah,
but
personally,
based on
and the fact that
landscape-
we haven't seen what the additions are, I don't feel comfortable
So,
personally voting on a yes if on a preservation that I haven't actually seen any addition on. I know, I've seen the house and I know the house is done
Yeah.
beautifully. I just haven't seen the yard portion, so.
So Mary Ellen does have a landscape preservation category.
That used to be, right.
So
I think
why
that-
still have it?
I don't know when it was before my time. I think it
But
stopped
this is
before.
in our operations book right now,
Okay,
these categories.
But when you look at the records of when the
We
last
sent them
award
to-
was given,
Oh,
it was in 2019.
yeah, but that's okay.
That's
Why isn't that okay?
I think,
only because we haven't, if we discuss it now, we haven't put it, we haven't asked the
The
public
community.
for
I think
nominations.
But-
that's
and that.
okay.
For nominations,
I guess the nomination should go to any
where,
category.
what categories, did you put categories out there in your ad?
Yes.
I did.
She did.
And
Yeah.
you didn't put
But we're
that?
also-
No, because that wasn't one of the ones that we had
In
been.
my time, we've never done it.
Yeah.
And the preservation, all the preservation awards I've been at, we've not done anything with landscaping, probably because.
Yes, at some point it got dropped. and-
Probably because that amount of like, there was just not that much of a
Not that
historical
many-
landscaping going on. Like, I look at it like you can landscape a historical house, but it's not necessarily like historical landscaping.
Yeah,
Like,
I
it's
feel
not
like-
like the back of the Sergeant House, where those gardens were like restored, like it's.
right, or like the Rose Garden, say,
Yeah.
in Beverly.
Yeah.
in-
So like, I don't think that, I've never. I mean, I've never heard, so these are the categories:
So we don't have that many around here.
archaeology, adaptive reuse, education, outreach, landscape preservation is on the MHC.
Okay, landscape preservation.
Yes.
Okay. So do you know if there was any restoration done, like an existing wall or anything
It's,
along?
there's a retaining wall, there's a patio, there's a walk and a garden.
That,
Do you know
Yeah.
if any of that used to be part of that property historically? Or whether just a new design added to an old house?
That I can't answer to. I know it replaced a generic parking space that was asphalt. So that's gone.
hmm,
And now you have pavers and granite and bricks and, stuff that fits the house, period.
To me, if it didn't preserve or restore a former landscape that was part of a historic property, that if you're just enhancing the property with nice pavers and a garden spot and everything, I mean, that's lovely and wonderful and terrific for Gloucester. But to me, that's not historic preservation award worthy.
Mhm.
Hmm.
That's
There's
my
no-
vote.
There's no way of knowing because the original, what it replaced was asphalt. So that eliminated whatever was
But
original.
somewhere, there might have been plans, architect plans.
Yeah, I can't answer. to
You
that.
know, some of that is still at the museum, archives.
Yeah.
If the homeowner knew that that's what they were restoring, then I think it's worthy of our awarding it.
Okay,
Otherwise, I don't.
okay.
Just to play devil's, I
Mhm.
absolutely understand what you're saying, but the fact that asphalt was certainly not historic. And it was removed in natural materials, more likely historic materials were added. There may be some merit there.
It's
Yeah.
just beautification though.
Yeah, true.
Just
true.
beautiful.
Right.
We can't give everybody who puts a garden in Gloucester.
Yeah, true.
It's
I
not,
can just picture back in the day when we were around, that the carriages were kept back there, you know. Might have been the place where they would have to bring it in off the street, you know. And that might have been some of a driveway for the carriage at one time. And it certainly wasn't a paved driveway with hot top, you know. It might have been cobblestones or something like that, you know. But, you know, if you done it with cobblestones, then maybe we might think that would be more historic, especially if the cobblestones are old ones.
but they're not cobblestones, it was asphalt and now it's
It's-
pavers.
It's a combination of cobblestones and pavers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that, I think that it probably should be looked at, could, you know, to give the benefit of the doubt here, you know. Not having seen it in detail and studying it,
Yes, that's right.
if we look at it, we might think differently.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna happen tonight, I don't think, but maybe for next year, if we
I
could
I
do a
think
little
if we're
research.
looking at landscapes, it
Yeah.
should be because it's a historic award, that
Yeah.
it should be like
Yeah.
restoring what a
Mm.
historic landscape, like if they have a painting of like the backyard or something, and they say,
Yeah.
oh, this is what the
Yeah.
painting looked like in 1850, let's restore this.
Right.
Which may be in this case, we just
Yeah,
don't know.
We just don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, I mean, if you could reach out to the homeowner and see if there's any such documentation about what was there. I don't know, before the hot top,
Sure.
I mean, even original plans sometimes include the landscaping. So, yeah, I guess we're gonna pass on
And
it.
before and after pictures would help too.
Yeah, that would be nice too.
So
Yeah.
that probably should kind of like refer this to be decided on our April 1st meeting, give the homeowner time to be able to make his case on this.
No, we have to vote by tonight. That was
Yeah. Tonight was voting.
because we have to give times to make the awards by.
Yeah, I have to contact people and they need to give me
Right.
materials and
Absolutely. Yeah, tonight was the night.
But it's still worth looking into for the
Right.
future, for next year.
Sure.
Right.
I mean, it may be a good test case for us, kind of example of, you know, what criteria we can use.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, and I think we should definitely put it back in for next year. for
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
For landscape.
So do we need to vote on that?
No,
No.
I don't think we need to vote.
Okay.
I may walk by and kind of peek in the back. I don't know, do they have dogs, guns? anything like
Like
that?
Say,
I don't believe they do.
Okay,
say.
Do we have your name?
It's on the
Yeah,
letter.
he has it.
okay, should we move on to the next?
okay, the next is
Gloucester Adventure.
Gloucester Adventure. I know, thank you. I was just Gloucester Adventure Inc. First restoration of the schooner Adventure built in 1926, submitted by Gregory Bowler, and I think you got the email, I forwarded the email that he sent.
What work was done in the last, I don't know, we're giving them a grace through COVID, right? It's 2 years, the project had to be completed, we're giving them a grace through COVID, like, I might look at them as like an education thing, because they do, like, the girls, they do like the women's sailing, young women's
Yeah.
sailing school and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know what year that, I mean,
What
that,
did
the
they
adventure has been
submit it
around for
for?
quite a
The
while.
restoration of the schooner. I'm
But
curious.
wasn't that done years ago?
I think so.
Yeah. Way pre-COVID,
Mhm.
but like if they're, like they do activities, they use that for. Like there's the whatever, there's a thing they do at the school.
They have the girls
Yeah.
sailor program. Is
Yeah.
that, do you know when that was started?
It was at least last year. I mean, it was at least after COVID, as far as I know. Because they put ads at the middle school for that all the time, so.
And does it teach them historically about how to sail one of those rigs? I mean, this is what we need, this is what we're awarding, not because they give educational programs. It has to be educational programs on the
Yeah,
history of sailing those kind of rigs, and we don't, and that's not what they're applying.
But they also have a lecture series they do down on the waterfront, don't they? Where you can go and have a tour of the historic waterfront that's sponsored by, that might be a maritime. Yeah, that's more maritime.
Yeah.
Hard to tell when one is,
Lillian,
I think what we would be looking at here is the promoting of
Restaurant, correct?
preserving the history
Right, they submitted. it for-
of schooners, and that was a fishing schooner. It was a very significant one. And that was brought back to Gloucester and restored. And I think what the award could be for is just teaching the history
Of whatever the, you're voting.
of schooners.
last 2 years, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it falls within the criteria, but that's what they're asking.
Now, the vessel did need to be, it wasn't seaworthy for quite a while, and so they had to restore the
Might be. I got 8 of them right here. In case you need them.
Change it.
I'm plugged in.
85.
Hang on,
here's a
Bob.
plug right here.
Yeah,
They're all attached to each other.
So the restoration was done in 2012.
So it's well outside of the scope.
Yeah.
I mean. if I
So
love them,
I
but-
would say no, because they're
Is-
not submitting it for anything except restoration.
Here's
They're
my
not
thoughts.
submitting it for their
Which has to
program.
be criterialized within the last 2 years.
Here's my thoughts. Right now, we
Yeah.
set out criteria.
hang on, Bob.
There are criteria.
It's working.
The battery's dying here, Bob. Sorry, the plug I had it plugged into isn't working.
Oh, okay,
I'm gonna,
I would want that to happen.
I'm just gonna try to a little bit of a boost here.
You carried me around. A different
Sorry
view.
about this.
Very
Hang
good.
on one, I'm gonna leave you here for 1 second, Bob. I'm gonna go try to find a plug closer to the table. I just didn't
Okay.
want to lose you.
Right. Maybe get the custodian to get you an extension cord.
Yeah, well, we have the extension cord, but there's no place to plug it in over there.
There must be something over by the where the councils meet.
That's where I'm sitting now.
Oh, you are.
Yeah, maybe we could. All right, Bob, hopefully we got a little bit more juice in the battery here. We're bringing you
Right.
back.
So, if you're having a problem on that, the custodian probably can tell you where you can plug in.
Yeah, well, we don't have that much. Oops. Yeah,
Yeah, just see.
Okay.
Just get rid of the days and change, see if that helps at all. Should have a light on this that comes on if it's.
yeah, didn't do it.
Need help with that fish stuff, I'd love to help.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
I can do it at
Oh, all right, we're okay.
Yeah,
Can you come over?
yeah. Yeah, I'd be really interested.
All right, where were we? We were talking about,
What's the database so far?
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to. Take a look. If you need help.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
so we were talking about the adventure. We decided, as I was walking around the room, I heard there was 2012 was when it was restored. And it's beyond kind of our window of, and
Well beyond it.
and there was no mention of recent work on it,
There has been recent work on it, but I don't know if it,
of substance.
be significant enough to, warrant an award. That would be the question. We wouldn't have more information. This may be one we may have to put off to another year.
Yeah, I think we need, at the minimum, we need to understand more. There was something done since 2012.
Right.
Okay, next.
Next is under local preservation, the Magnolia Historical Society and Museum. And I wasn't sure whether that should be under local preservation or stewardship, and they got an award.
They got an award for restoring the building, I think, back in 2019. I
In
sent you the
2019.
minutes in the
Yep,
April 2019, there was a
Okay.
visit because they had just purchased it.
But this one is for their work.
yeah, the stewardship. I
They're
Not-
preserving the records by, putting them on digital.
Right.
So this is, yeah, so this is for their, this is a different category.
Yeah. Okay.
This would be stewardship of documentation.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
stewardship. I'd say that.
I would definitely.
Julie's doodling over here. I think we signed up. No, I'm motion.
I'll second that.
So
Yeah.
what does stewardship exactly mean?
I don't know, doing good things.
Fish.
I,
What you're doing with cruise documents,
that's what I look at it
it.
as. You're
Yeah.
like caretaking. So you're like digitizing, or the hope is down the line that like cruise stuff is organized or whatever, like this, I've never been to the Magnolia Historical Society. Can assume that like a lot of it was not necessarily preserved. It
Yeah,
was just
No,
there,
they did a lot of work, yeah, they did.
and it sounds
But
like
it's
they
not
were,
a category.
but it's stewardship is.
Where?
Um, From what I know, the Historical Society of Magnolia is very significant. They have a lot of material.
That's not- That's not,
This for notes.
So I think the work that they're doing probably.
For the nomination.
One for-
This-
that's not categories.
We're,
Categories.
while we're discussing the category, what
Just,
Right.
category it should be
thought it
in.
was more organized.
Documentation.
I would say
Not a category.
preserving the information is preserving the history. I guess that would be under documentation.
History, if anything else, as
Oh, yeah, okay, there is a
Stewardship
documentation.
is a mass historical category.
It is. Okay,
Oh, it's not on this list either. Got some cross contamination here between different.
Mass historical, we have archaeology, adaptive reuse, education and outreach, landscape preservation, rehabilitation and restoration, local preservation, which I'm sure they could fall under. Individual lifetime achievement and stewardship. So we could even give the adventure a lifetime achievement award because it's not an individual, it sounds like.
yeah.
It has to be a person.
So it sounds like we have a what was the category we do have listed? Was it documentation and.
Local
We have one
preservation.
called documentation of Gloucester's history, which is weird because it's not a real category.
That
in
would
terms
probably,
of
I would say
tax.
that, like, I group that into stewardship.
Stewardship,
Yeah.
yeah, I would say that's the same thing.
Yeah, okay,
Or interchangeable.
I agree. I will make a motion that we vote on giving them an award. Would anybody say? Okay. Susan,
Um, we, what did they submit?
That's what I was trying to look for, which I thought I
Oh,
had,
I've
and I couldn't find it.
What do they think they have earned an award?
I think
doing?
for,
I could look it up. I don't
I
have.
think
it.
they're archiving, digitizing, I think,
That's what I understand.
So
Yeah.
if it's for that, then yes,
Yeah. That's my
yeah, I
understanding.
believe it is for stuff that was fall under
because that,
stewardship.
they have done a lot of work on, that I know.
Yep.
But we need to know from them what exactly
they're
they've
submitting.
done,
What they're submitting.
what they're submitting, why we're voting
Didn't we
for it.
do that?
Let me look back in my emails, because she attached it.
Yeah, I sent it,
Yeah.
I
Judy
forwarded.
Gillis has relentlessly researched and documented Magnolia's history for decades with a brief lab. She's recently dedicated herself to transitioning our archives from hard copy files to a digital format.
Yes, and she is very,
She's the lady that works at Annie's Variety, right?
Is she?
don't.
Judy. It has Judy as her license plate. I'm 99.9%
But
sure that's her.
she's a walking encyclopedia
Yeah.
up there.
99.9% sure that's her. I know she works with Magnolia Historical Society.
All right. Well, then, if that's what
She's
it's
the
for,
afternoon Annie's Variety.
yes,
When
I
used
say
to
yes.
smoke, that she
Did
used to
we
give
make a
gas
motion?
lights.
Do we make a
I
motion?
made a motion and.
We're not making motions, we're just saying yes.
Oh, okay,
Right
all right.
now. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Jude,
We haven't done this in over 5 years, so we're a little out of practice.
Wow.
Well, we never had nominations either.
We
So
went
we
to
would come up
COVID
with it.
and We didn't do it, and we
Out
haven't
of
done it as
practice.
this group, so.
So it's
Jude,
really a first
Have,
run,
have
really.
Judy, to have Judy accept the award for the Historical Society.
yeah, we have to vote on
Yeah.
it first, though. I think we still need Jude
Yeah,
to
yes.
vote and Bob.
Yes.
Yes.
And I, yes. So,
Yes.
moving right along.
So we actually skipped there. So we ended up putting, so Magnolia Historical Society was in here twice for local preservation or stewardship. So we're saying stewardship instead of local preservation.
Because we're
Or we
focusing
did, so that
on
means
Judy
we did not,
Gillis's.
we are not giving an award this year for local preservation then.
Right.
Yes,
Okay,
correct.
got it. All right.
Did we miss
So
Ocean
archaeology
Alliance?
Next. Say that again?
Did we miss Ocean Alliance? We were gonna put
Well,
them.
now
That's
we're
still-
getting to.
Oh,
adaptive
okay, all right,
reuse.
sorry. I'll let
So-
you run the show. I'll keep my mouth shut.
Oh, no, that's all right. No, my brain isn't functioning at this time of night. So I think everybody got the,
Oh, we didn't do the Magnolia Historical Society. And weren't we gonna talk about the,
That's what we just did.
we did.
no, they
Judy.
wanted a letter for the CPC,
Oh.
CPA grant,
Oh, yeah.
but she left without mentioning it, so I guess we can put it on until next week, next month.
Okay.
Do they need it?
Probably need it if they're gonna do it.
Well, they
The
need
CP
before.
C-
CPC funding is
yeah.
next
funding,
week.
Yeah.
we need it.
She said second, because of the email, second, our organization received a CPA grant in 2020, and we are applying for one again now. Zoe Benettonakos asked me for a letter from your commission stating that we are a historic building. While this has never been asked of us in the past, it is now required in order to submit a grant application.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah,
Can
blah.
you email her and ask her if they could send us a letter to, so,
No, we do the letter, and
Yeah.
Ralph signs it.
we already have a letter?
No, I'm gonna do that. We
It's-
can,
I can send it to you, you
Yeah.
can tweak it and sign it and get it to them.
yeah, that's the.
It was in an email,
It's
it
just-
was in the email that just came today, because I went
okay.
back and looked through the old
Okay.
minutes and my old emails to find out when they went to the,
Okay,
because it was the schoolhouse, right?
I
Yeah,
was,
Right.
she sent me the email like at 3 o'clock
Yeah.
this afternoon.
Right.
April 2019.
then I feel better.
Okay.
I missed it,
Exactly.
but. So we should vote on whether they're historically significant. Would anybody like to make a motion?
I will.
Jude, second, anybody second?
Are we doing We're doing adaptive reuse. What are we doing?
No,
I'm
this
sorry,
for
this
the
is
letter,
Just to get
just
the
for the letter,
letter.
get that out of the way. Yeah.
For Magnolia.
Okay,
I'm sorry, Bob, did you second that?
I'm getting signed.
I
off.
did,
Yeah,
yes.
okay. Susan,
Um,
for the letter for
Voting.
Magnolia
Oh,
Historical,
yes.
yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Tim, Jude, I think you, yeah, and
Yes.
Lillian, Bob,
Yes,
and Ralph is yes, so, okay.
A lot.
I can write it, Susan.
Yeah,
I'll write it and,
well, I will send you this again and you can tweak
Yeah,
this.
just tweak the
okay,
existing letter
all right,
you
that's
already
fine, yeah.
got.
Oh, no problem. All right, sorry, Lillian, we just had a little side
oh,
venture there.
that's okay, with the side, yeah.
Yep.
109 sounds good to me.
Yep.
Can I have counsel up to my bench? Education and, oh, adaptive reuse for ocean lives.
Yeah. And I think I'm the one that nominated it, did I? I think I did.
I think so, in
Yeah.
the meeting, I think you
Yeah,
did,
yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely say yes,
Yeah.
for that, so I would motion it.
Right, even though it's a work in progress, I think just based on
It's
that
done
one
amazing work
building,
so far.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean,
And it's an amazing new reuse of a
exactly,
treasured building in our
right,
city.
right.
A second.
Okay, Susan? Ocean
Adaptive
Alliance?
reuse for
Excuse
Ocean
me,
Alliance,
Reuse, adaptive
Yes.
reuse, yes.
yes.
Jude, yes, you said, Lillian, yes, Bob?
Yep.
And I also say yes, so that's great. They were very excited about it too. They felt, just based on the emails from, what was her name,
Ian?
Denise?
Oh, Denise.
Denise and Ian. Yeah,
They're
they were-
both really excited. I mean, Ian
Yeah.
is like over the top excited
Yeah.
about it. Obviously
Well, he's
loves
put
his job.
so much time and money into that place.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay, next, education and outreach. And I nominated Judy Van Dyke because she, yeah, of course, I didn't do a lot of research. I believe she is, well, I know she's at the Rose Baker Senior Center, and I know she established the, because she has a gallery on Pleasant Street. You've probably seen the gallery. But anyway, she started the program, an art program for the seniors. Bringing in materials and, getting them to be creative, so.
but what is the historical significance?
Pardon?
What's the historical significance I missed?
This is for education and outreach, so I guess,
It'd be historical education outreach, right? I think,
Yeah.
yeah, with the seniors, it's the Gloucester Seniors, Gloucester
Okay.
Senior Center.
So she's doing work on his,
She set up the program and she runs it.
okay, but is a program about history, I guess, is what I'm asking.
No, but I looked at it as more, I don't know.
opening art.
I guess I was just thinking if she was dealing with seniors, somehow that, and
They're old.
they're, yeah.
I
No,
think if they were doing like an art project that was like preserving the history of their stories or something, that'd be one type of
Right,
art
yeah.
form that I would agree with for an award. But if
Yeah,
it's just doing like an art program, I think that's just like
Yeah.
a good stewardship for our
Yeah.
community. I don't know if that's a historical.
I'm not sure how much, I don't know that much about the program to know. I was just thinking that, if they're doing art and if they're drawing things, what their neighborhood, their whatever, that, but, okay.
I mean, you can ask them, maybe they are doing something like that, I don't know, but I'd say based on the information we have, it's probably not.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I can ask. So then we don't have anybody right now for that education outreach.
Maybe that's okay.
Skipped archaeology.
We don't have to have somebody. in
Oh, yeah,
the category.
sorry about
The
that.
time. Just the timeline, but
Oh, the
Oh.
timeline, you
the
know,
plug for the timeline.
That's-
Seriously.
that's a good
though.
point.
Was it education outreach?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Of course.
yeah.
how didn't we?
Oh, my God.
The other one was Beth Welland.
She
did.
won an award already.
Did she get one already for the, what do you call it? Urban renewal presentation she used to do? She used to
Yeah,
go to
I-
the senior center.
Yeah. she does a
Yeah.
good job.
It's that's an awesome presentation.
I've never seen that one.
Timeline.
So
I mean,
timeline.
honestly, like we
get-
already know the backstory, so we don't really need an introduction or a nomination. It just depends on if we all feel it's deemed historically significant for us for
I think it
education,
is,
which is
yes, I haven't
a
seen it
no-brainer.
based on
I've
what I'm
seen it.
understanding. Yeah, okay.
So
So
I'll motion the
is for
timeline.
What?
Education.
Lost their timeline for education,
The Sawyer Free Libraries timeline.
Thank you.
technically education. and-
Well, thank you for dope slapping us
Yeah,
all.
right, seriously.
Education.
Outreach. Well, nobody technically came forward with a nomination for it, so,
Right.
including us. so,
Right.
I did,
Just now?
no, a couple months ago, I nominated myself.
You second it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Ralph did.
Um, so we're voting on timeline. Susan,
Yes,
Yes.
Jude,
Yes.
Lillian,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes,
and I agree.
Because it is it's history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lillian, I mean,
We
The-
skipped archaeology. Do we want to,
is there anything, do we have a nominee?
we have a David Tower
Yeah.
nominated Mary Ellen.
I feel like we can
Bianca.
group that into
Or
Lifetime Achievement Award.
Okay,
Oh, okay, we already gave her that.
Yeah,
Okay,
she's
we
getting a
already
Lifetime
did,
Achievement Award for
Okay.
various
Yeah,
different things.
right.
So like, that's one of the things that she'd be
Yep.
getting it for.
So Susan, I absolutely think you deserve an award. Is there any
conflict?
conflict? I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I don't know, it's definitely deserving.
Yeah.
For the work that she's done over the last year for the hotels.
I don't know,
Right.
what does the state say about that?
Well, have we given awards to members previously or only after they retired?
I-
Because we've given them to
Well, you
previous
got an
people.
award,
Well, she got a home,
but that's how I ended up on the commission. I wasn't on
weren't
the
on the
commission.
commission.
Nope, nope.
that was for your home preservation, right?
Yes.
I mean, maybe you just abstain from voting and
or
Yeah.
stewardship for-
Well, yeah, you couldn't vote for yourself to
No.
get an award, so you would have to abstain anyway. But
But I got it for stewardship, but also for the neighborhood, for just.
Right. That was prior to you being on the commission.
That part.
yeah,
That was prior to you being on the
Yes.
commission, yes,
Yeah.
no problem.
right, yeah. So, and I don't think there's any problem, with Susan getting
Right.
a award, because this is something that was done independently. She was not part of something she was working on directly with the historical commission. This is what she did with the hotel education and
yep,
telling the story of the history, I think is.
I feel like everybody has their own projects that
right.
don't necessarily, like, you're on the commission by virtue of that historical background rather than the opposite.
Right. So,
We just need to be
Um,
able to articulate that if someone asks us a question.
yeah, no, I think it makes perfect sense. Does anybody want to make a motion to vote? Yes, Tim?
I don't know.
Was that a second, Bob?
Well, I guess somebody else made the motion. I seconded it.
Okay, we're not gonna ask Susan because she can't vote for herself. Tim, yes?
Absolutely.
Yep. Jude,
Yes.
Lillian,
This is for preserving Gloucester history, right? Okay,
Yes.
So.
Wouldn't
We're
it be?
still on education and.
I
Oh,
thought
guess
we
it
were
could be
saying,
both.
yeah,
It
Education
could be
outreach.
either one. It could be education or outreach or preserving Gloucester's history.
Ah.
I think,
to me, I'd say preserving Gloucester.
yeah, but she's done
That's what I
presentation, a
had
bunch of
as her
presentations.
title.
She does?
You had her under. you had
Under
her under
preserving
preserve-
Gloucester
Okay, that's
history.
fine.
Okay,
Does it matter to you what category?
and,
It's like, 'cause the
Bob,
history is
did you
amazing.
vote?
You also have done-
I haven't voted yet, but I said yes.
Okay, yes, and I say yes as well, and Susan can't vote, like I said, but
So
those that
Ralph,
did approved unanimously.
Tim,
Thank you.
Jude, Lillian, Bob,
David's the only other one, right? It's not. Yeah,
Fair, Susan. Abstained.
you're on page 7. right?
No, I'm writing smaller.
Okay.
5.
Any more, Lillian?
Yes, for preserving Gloucester history. Carla Grillo. The book which I brought a copy of. This is the book that she want to look at it or whatever. That's her work.
We have 7.
We're never gonna get out of it.
What is it, what is the book about?
No, we're not gonna get to it. Is that a
Gloucester's
issue?
seniors,
Thought we just
Bob,
discussed it.
Gloucester seniors.
Doing the
Oh, I
report,
did
so.
see that. I did read.
Oh,
that.
that's right. We'll put it on the
I
agenda
did
for
look,
next
but
time.
it's really
It's not urgent because we're not pressed to get it done.
You might expect I'm still here.
Is that book all about Gloucester? I've never seen that book before.
No, I
Or is
haven't
it-
seen it either.
I think there was
Clause.
something in the Gloucester Daily Times where you could order it, like pre-published or whatever, or like the initial,
I see.
and I
Yeah.
ordered
Is this like, is this one family's?
it.
chronology, or is
Her father was mayor of Gloucester. And he actually initiated the schooner race, the schooner
it-
festival.
Okay.
And when we first bought our house, which was not renovated at the time, I told my husband that we could buy this house because we were gonna rent it out and make money to pay for the house that we were, anyway. So I painted and I did all this or whatever and got it all ready, made curtains, everything. And we rented it out, and she rented it for 6 weeks. And at the time, I didn't know why she wanted to rent past Labor Day, till I found out that, that her parents were getting elderly, so they all stayed at the house and they saw the race from the porch and all that, so,
Oh, wow.
yeah, so it's just kind of funny that,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
that things go in a circle
Right.
a little bit, but
So do you remember somebody nominated him
Yeah.
and somebody nominated another person?
Nina Pinto or whatever.
I
Right,
think she was
but
also here.
we had discussion about that.
We didn't
it's-
discuss
it's-
it, that's right, we didn't discuss
We
it.
didn't discuss
Was
it,
it
but
the other nominee? No.
it's, these are not civic awards. These are awards for preserving Gloucester's history. Yeah, and, through no fault of yours, but we've got to look at that for next year when we solicit nominations to make it really clear that we're not giving awards to people for the
Sure.
sake
I
of,
think he's done more than,
well, he was a World War II vet and things like that.
Well, that's what
shouldn't
that's
have.
what he received an award for recently, wasn't it? Veteran award.
I feel like if there's a question,
Yeah.
just err on the side of that. So that way nobody can say he didn't question it. There's a question of
book-
whether it's preservation.
The book is preserving the history of those individuals. Is that kind of what we're going off of here, or that's what they're nominating him for as? I mean, it's a nice book.
Would have been nice if I read this book before I brought it, because here's Junie.
I'd imagine some of these people are old enough that some of the information is pretty historic, actually.
It's just,
Let's see
the
where it
description
is.
was, a book profiling 28 seniors for Gloucester's senior community.
Contents.
This will be a historic document for the future when people run across this book and they see it. This documentation will tell the lives of these people that lived in that period. And so, 50 to 100 years from now, this actual will seem very historic, but today it may not seem so historic because the people are still current. They're still here.
Yeah,
I don't know, should we table it for now and do some, because I don't know anything about the book and
I don't either, except
Yeah.
that it's just telling
Yeah.
the stories of 28 seniors from Gloucester's lives, which
Yeah.
I think if you think about like the work he put into making this book to preserve the history of those 28 people, I think it's definitely worth giving an award for sure.
You do.
It just depends on whether we think these 28 lives or their stories are historically significant.
Yeah,
Which,
I don't know. That's,
Well, they didn't interview me, so it's probably not historic enough.
I don't know, what do you think, Susan?
Without reading the book or at least understanding what the
Yeah.
book is about, there's a lot of books that came out in the last few years because of the 400th.
Right, like
And
the,
I don't want to set a precedent of particularly, you know, not having the other books to compare it with and not, this is a fine line.
yeah,
it is, because none of us have read the book, so we don't know like
Right.
what factualization there
Yeah.
is in there or anything like that either. So
yeah.
How did they describe why they should win an award? Do you have it there?
I'm sorry. That,
How did they describe why this author should, and this book should win an award? For what?
no, if I remember right, it was just a, no, it was very brief.
Yeah,
It was very brief.
so
the quote in
This
here
is
just
a
says,
good
a book
book.
preserving 28 seniors from Gloucester's senior community. That's what it says.
yeah. I think this is something we should shelve for next year and think about a book category. Or because it could be eligible again next year.
Mm, I just don't know enough about it
I
to vote
know.
on it.
I think that's the wisest thing here.
We don't know enough about, it. Let's move it
It's
on.
not
I think
like-
we're very tough to get something together for this in the short time that we have too. So I think putting it off to next year will give us more time to find out what the award really is for, and then what the details of how we'll do the presentation.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I think if, like, we put together a collection of Jude's writings, that
Yeah.
is historical, that is about Gloucester history.
I think that's the key, like, where are we gonna draw the line at what is Gloucester history and what's a memoir?
Right.
Right,
And like, how much of that memoir incorporates the bigger
the
picture
Gloucester
of
history.
Gloucester history? Is it something that I'm gonna, like, if I'm doing my shipwrecks, am I gonna go back and look at this guy's book, or am I gonna go look at Martin Ray's thing?
Right,
You know, like, that's how I look at it, like, what is gonna benefit me as a historian
yeah,
in doing my work? Rather than like what's someone can just pick up at the bookstore, not that there's anything wrong with that, but is it
Right.
preservation?
right. I'm,
Like digitizing an archive or creating a timeline is very different than, I could write a memoir about my family's history, and that doesn't necessarily make it Gloucester history.
Yeah, not the intent probably of what she.
Yeah.
Maybe.
All right, so we'll shelf that one for now.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not to say that it's not a great project.
That was a great project. Sir.
Right.
Insane amount of work. It's just for their family. It's great.
again, it's more civic minded, that's a
I think that's the
real,
best way of looking at it, is that it's not if it's a civic minded thing. Or like a beautification project, it's not necessarily historic preservation.
Right.
You know,
Great.
was that the last one, Lillian?
Not the last, oh, we have this, so we have the Gloucester cemeteries and we
Oh,
have the
that's right.
Gloucester Encounters
Oh, that's
Initiative, Gloucester Cultural Initiative.
cemeteries, like, I'm gonna nominate them right now because of all the stuff they've been doing, and granted, their project isn't done, and granted, it's been going on for a long time, it's an
Yeah.
ongoing project. So
Right.
I'm gonna say,
but this was specifically for the program they put in for the 400th, right? This,
The
which
cemetery
was
tours and stuff.
fabulous.
Yeah.
They were all in costume and they went to each grave and they talked about the person and they were amazing tours. And that was my understanding about, because I think they won before, right? In the last,
it was Clark Cemetery, it was the Clark family.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
I wish I could have gone on one of those tours. But
Oh,
Yeah.
they're great.
are they gonna do them again though? Or was it just for the 400?
I don't know,
I
yeah.
bet
So
we-
would that be
there was
all,
Clark, Sandy
that would
Garrity.
be everybody on the committee?
Yeah, well, I don't think, I think it's just one award, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, I think we nominate,
The,
I
the
think we
group.
nominate and have either who spearheads it, Walter and Sandy.
Yeah, I know, Russell Hobbs was very involved, and his wife Melissa.
Yeah,
so-
because the McGraths have been doing it forever, the
Yeah.
Hodds have been doing it forever, Sandy and Cindy Dunn, Kathy Clark,
Mm.
Richard Clark, they already won that, they won one for their thing. Courtney at the, formerly at the museum. Yeah, I mean, I feel like they can decide who they want to
Yeah.
accept it
Yeah,
on behalf of.
because I know the Lanes Cove Fish Shack was given an award back in 2013. And I accepted it on behalf of the whole crew, so
Yeah.
something like that.
So cemeteries is what
My motion.
category?
It's gonna be preserving Gloucester history.
So you made a motion.
Yeah.
Jude, anybody second?
I second it.
Second. So Susan is a yes.
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Jude is a yes.
Yes.
Lillian, yes.
Yes.
Bob's a yes, and I'm a yes, and that's great.
So I guess the only thing left is the Gloucester Cultural Initiative. I'd like to nominate our book, Gloucester Encounters Essays on the Cultural History of the City 1623 to 2023. And editor Martin Ray. And again, I do not even have a copy of the book.
I have that book and I've read, not front to back, but I've read it a
I
good
do
amount.
too. I haven't.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was a great book.
Essays on cultural history of.
It was a while ago though, so I'm
Yeah.
trying to remember. Was it history?
When was it published?
Yeah, I was gonna say, was it written in the last 2 years?
Yeah.
Or 4 years?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
They say
Pretty new.
There's one of the ones that came out.
November
around
2022.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's within 2 years.
Yeah. I
Um,
think it was.
not everybody agrees with the accuracy of his writing. I'm just gonna put that out there. I'm not gonna say any names,
Yeah,
but,
well, I can't speak to that. I mean, I
I would-
believed it.
I would have to
What do
read
I know?
Each of the essays were written by somebody who was not him, I think.
He just compiled it, right?
Yeah,
oh.
so they were all written by individual
Oh,
people
okay,
that.
okay.
Well, does anybody want to make a motion to
Well, do you
present to the
think
board?
it's a book that meets the criteria?
I think so. I
Okay.
mean,
Because
that's,
I have,
I'll make that motion.
yeah.
Yep.
So Bob made a motion. Anybody want a second?
I'll second.
Second? Okay, Lillian, second. Sorry, she raised her hand, Tim.
Okay.
You'll get the next one.
Actually say, yeah,
Yeah. Okay, Susan?
I'd either like to not vote or vote based on what you're telling me, which is the book on history.
Yeah, yeah.
The book on history, Gloucester history.
Yeah.
Yes,
The poems or the writings are historical.
Is it a fiction book or a fact book?
No,
It's nonfiction,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's,
it's actual happenings and it's kind of an eclectic collection of historic stories and encounters and I don't know. It's-
okay, I vote yes.
Yeah, the amount of work he put in to create this, just group of
Yeah.
texts that were previously written by Gloucester residents, I think is historic preservation in itself. So yeah, I'd say yes.
Okay. Jude? Yes. Lillian?
Yes.
And Bob, you? brought it
Yes.
To the floor, so yes. And I say yes as well.
That's all.
That's it.
We have 218, and that's, I'm sorry, 118 Washington Street that I had nominated.
118.
I-
Oh, the one across from Missourians?
Yeah, we
That-
missed the home nomination that I put in on Middle Street as well, the Babson house that just got fully restored.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Nominate away.
I had nominated at the beginning of the year.
Do you know the address?
Isn't it on the green?
The Babson, no, it's like a pinkish, it's a cedar shingled house that got, they literally just redid the whole thing, like. This past
Yeah,
year,
9
including
units.
windows and everything.
Do you
yeah.
know the address?
I'm looking at it right now.
Absolutely. And 118 Washington?
Yes. That's on the corner of Commonwealth Avenue. It's across from Redwood Avenue.
30 years.
I'm having a, That's
It's
not the
big
one across
mansion
from
on the
Missouri?
hill. Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay.
When you come out Railroad Ave and you
Right.
kind of like veer left to go
Yeah.
up Centennial, it's the big one on the corner with the
Okay, that is.
masonry or whatever.
I mean, I don't know anything about it other than it looks nice.
Yeah, it really, is saving the property. The property, especially from the front,
The
had
tree
deteriorated through the years.
The entire front,
Right.
the whole thing.
Is that
actually.
on Mill Street?
Yeah, so this is like right across from the museum.
So they put their own sign up there right on the corner, and they say it was one of the Babson's birthplaces.
Correct, and the Babson still own it.
70 or something.
Yeah, so now it's Babson Law Office, but it's still the
Yes.
Babson family still owns
Yes.
it, but they just restored the entire thing. They built a whole new granite front steps and resided it, so that was one that I
Mm,
nominated
yeah.
months ago. These pictures are actually outdated, but or that. It's right down.
Okay, now I know.
Yeah, it's right across from the
Now I know,
museum.
yep. Anybody else know?
But if you guys haven't seen it, then we could always shelf it for next year, because it'll be within 2 years. Actually, here it is. This is the most recent. That's it now, after it's been restored.
I seen it and took pictures of it because of the sign.
Yeah, so that's what it looks like.
Yeah,
Okay, yep.
very nice.
Well, I mean, we could vote on it, Tim, and if you want to make a motion.
Did we actually, I mean, how many, did we put a house up this year at all?
I mean,
For
how
this
many do we
conservation?
have?
I don't think we
Because
have one at
we
all.
only have,
Oh, no, yeah, we Wellspring House.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have Wellspring House, so
Yeah.
that suffices, I think,
okay,
for this year. I don't think we should do multiple this year unless
okay. Do you feel the same way, Bob,
strongly about it.
about the Washington?
What's that? What's that?
That we've already nominated the Wellspring House and
5, 6,
that will-
7, 8.
See, I'd like to see a picture of what the Washington Street House looked like
before and after.
before it went into disrepair.
Oh.
And did they
Accurately.
restore it or did they do something different that,
Yeah,
you know? See how much vinyl siding.
They
is-
did a really nice job on the Babson house, though. I would,
so are we gonna hold off on
Okay.
those two homes?
So how many do we have? Because we have 2 hours for all these presentations
Mm.
and,
Mm,
you know.
Okay, we have one,
oh, you-
two,
7?
We voted on 7.
okay.
4, 5,
Lifetime
6,
achievement, Wellspring
7.
House.
We have 8.
What's the 8th? Oh, wait, I lied to you. We have 8.
We have 8. If each one is a
We have
10
Mary
or
Ellen.
15-minute presentation.
Mary Ellen, well, I don't talk for 10 or 15 minutes. They're getting like a, they get an introduction and I'm off the stage.
And the hook. Mm.
I get paid a lot to talk in public.
So,
So we have
is
Mary
Ellen
Ellen.
gonna get 2, right?
Nope, it's just gonna be one.
Just gonna be one, but who's
Yeah.
for archaeology then? I forget.
Nobody.
You don't have to do
Yeah, we don't
that.
have to do
No.
every category. We're not
So
doing
Mary
one
Ellen's for lifetime achievement,
Okay,
Wellspring for restoration, Magnolia Historical Stewardship, Ocean Alliance for adaptive reuse, Sawyer Free Library Timeline for education outreach, Susan for the hotel preserving Gloucester history, cemeteries for preserving Gloucester history, Martin Ray for preserving Gloucester history. Those are the ones we voted on.
okay. Oh, what do we say about the Babson House? Was that
5 minutes.
the Babson
Are we
House?
doing Babson House? Yes or no?
That's on.
We could always do it next year if we don't do it this year, because it'll be in the
Yeah.
timeframe, but
If they don't know about it, then we have to.
Yeah.
You have to be in touch with them. You
Yeah.
have to say, we noticed, would you like?
we did not
you
put
know,
forth a
blah,
nomination.
Shove it, we'll do it.
Oh, that's-
Okay.
We shelved it to next year, yeah.
Okay.
So do you feel the same about the Washington Street House, Bob?
I don't see the tremendous problem there. I think she was expecting, because I did talk to her about it.
did.
And she thought it was gonna be this year, but we can just tell her it's gonna be for next year.
Okay,
That gives us more time to do the story.
right.
And next year will be here soon enough.
So we're over time here and our janitor friend wants us out of here by 8:45. So, anybody
We
like,
have to take pictures of all this.
Motion to adjourn. I already have them.
anybody seconded?
Okay.
Whether we want to stay.
I'll
in the
second it.
certified local.
Like local government.
All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Lillian wants to stay here. All right.
I learned a
Yes,
lot.
I'm for adjournment.
All right, Bob, we're gonna sign
Okay.
out now.
Okay,
All right,
See-
thanks.
see you next month in person. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Targeted first.
Julie.
Okay.